Hi, my name is Mary Bedell. I am a second year master's student at Syracuse University in the Department of Art History, and I am here with Shane Zhang to talk about her recent work, an exhibition which is part of the MFA exhibition Carrying the Thick Present, which is currently live at the Community Folk Art Center. Shane, thank you very much for joining me. I really want to start off just by asking you to introduce yourself and say a few words about your background.
Sure. Hi, Mary. Nice to meet you. So my name is Shane Zhang, and I'm the second year graduate student in MFA Design, which also in VPA. And I'm from China, and also I'm a product designer before, and I'm also an explorer who dares to challenge. So I like to try areas that I haven't touched. Reality is one of the directions I'm interested in. So that's why for my thesis project, I would do this.
Fantastic. Yeah, as you say, you're an explorer, and virtual reality is one of those really cutting edge mediums, and it's a part of your project. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on what sparked the idea for this MFA project.
So first of all, I'm interested in children's project. And in an opportunity, I learned that children with congenital heart disease needs to face medical procedures from an early age. And I think this kind of experience is very terrible for for the children. And I saw a video in my preliminary research is children um, psychological process. The child's psychological pressure before the operation is tremendous, and this is also an essential factors that triggered my decision to do a pre-operative VR experience for this group of children.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like a very touchy subject. I'm sure a lot of people listening have had surgery themselves, or they know somebody, or especially a child who's had surgery. It's just really tough. Have you spoken to anyone who's had that experience? And if so, how did that contribute to your process?
Yes, I haven't. I have talked with many parents before in my research, and they all said that this is an important project for their children because it can help children with CHD reduce anxiety. And they also shared some of the methods they use to cope with their children negative emotions. So it's very helpful for my project too.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you go about starting that research project? Like, how did you start turning that problem into a possible solution?
First of all, the preliminary literature research is very important because I need to collect existing solutions to help children reduce anxiety in different fields and summarize some important factors from them because which can help me develop new ideas. And I think this is not what I imagined because the main points are well founded and very verifiable. The second is interviews with relevant users. In addition to interviewing children with CHD, and their parents, I found areas of interest for children aged 5 to 11. Then I also interviewed children developed experts, the pediatric cardiologist and anesthesiologist. They shared some knowledge with me, which helped me to find a more um, pre, uh, pre, um, precious directions in the later design, and of course the communication between my professors and me is also indispensable. The information they shared with me is also an important clue of my research. Therefore, I have made many adjustments to the solutions. This process is slow but also enjoyable.
Yeah, for sure. So I imagine this is a process that a lot of people are pursuing in some way because as I said, it's really horrible when children have to go into surgery at all, and you want to make it as smooth as possible, and reducing, as you said, that kind of psychological distress is really important in the medical field. And I'm curious about how your project is different than people who are also working on the project, or how your work builds on their work.
Mm, in fact, there have been many cases about the application of VR in the medical industry. But the difference between my design and theirs is that the whole experience is not only use VR in my design, but also an illustration book will give them a preparation before the operating day. This will help children familiarize themselves with the whole story in advance, but it will also increase their curiosity because the experience between uh, 2 dimension and 3 dimension is still very different. So on the other hand, the entire VR experience also need preoperative medical procedures on time, which increases the immersion of children.
Yeah, for sure. I have to confess I'm kind of a technophobe in many ways. There's a lot about the technology that I don't understand. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like to make VR? Like as a designer, what that process is like?
Oh, actually, I don't have enough experience in making the virtual reality. So the whole process is um, relatively new and challenging for me. And the most fun part is to set up the entire forest thing because when you are down and immersed in this thing, this is very fruitfully. Of course, I didn't complete the material of the entire forest independently, and I still purchased some forest materials that I thought was suitable for my story to help me build the thing. And on the other hand, the challenge is that the whole experience needs to be um, implemented with some code because I don't have any code background. So I still learned some knowledge on YouTube. So I think if someone are interested in VR, YouTube is the best choice for you.
There is almost nothing you can't learn on YouTube. YouTube is the best. And then there's two parts to your project. There's a VR component which is sort of has a video about walking through a forest and meeting animals, and then there's also a children's book. And so there's two components. And I'd like to hear a little bit about what it was like to make the children's book. Like, is this kind of storytelling something you'd done before, or was this also new?
This is certainly interesting because I don't have any experience as an author of children's books. So, in the process of writing this story, drawing the illustration, even made this book, many people around me gave me a lot of support and help. So, this project allowed me to learn a lot of things that I had not touched before.
Yeah, for sure. And the story that you end up telling in both the VR and the children's book relies on animals as characters. Can you talk a little bit about that choice? Why animals and how they're helpful for children?
Each of these role has its meaning. Like for example, like rabbit, I define this psychologist because its role in this game is to guide children into the entire experience, which can help children understand the rules of the game and let them walk into the whole VR world in another way. And in another example, the role of the dragon is the children's cardiac surgeon because many children think the dragon is strong and powerful. This will also increase the children's trust in the cardiac surgeon. It can help later children not feel scared and distrustful when they facing the doctor acting as a dragon.
Yeah, for sure. So there's different animals in the project, and then the animals, they're sort of stand-ins for actual medical personnel, like doctors that the child will actually encounter. And so it bridges that gap for them. And I think that's so interesting. And I would like to hear from you how you would know that your project was successful. Like, what would you want to hear from a parent or a child that would make you think, I did a good job with this one?
Um, of course, if I want to know this design is successful or not, the children's anxiety index is very important. So as far as I know, the Yale preoperative anxiety scale is used to test children's anxiety index. So, and most I want to hear from parents say that is real to hear their children crying or screaming before surgery or in our anesthesia.
Mhm. Right. Very, very true. So there's like a medical component, like an index scale, and then also you want to hear from the parent as well. I love that. As
Definitely.
we're wrapping up here, I'd like to hear from you. Is there anyone you want to thank for supporting you in this project?
Definitely. So the first I want to thank for my two professor. They are um, Professor Don Carr and Professor Isabel Pochner. They are very, very important in my project and they support me a lot and help me a lot. And another is my jury member, which are Rachel Raza and Colin Cameron. They are also helped me a lot and gave me many suggestions in this project too. There are also those many professors who helped me, but I didn't mention them. Thank you very much for your help. And it can be said that this project would not be successful completely without your help. Oh, and also my interviewer, like the children's and their parents, they also helped me a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it takes a village to raise children, as we say, and you it takes a village to finish a thesis for sure. So as we're wrapping up, finally, I'd like to ask, where can people find you and continue to see your work?
Oh, if you are interested in my thesis project, you can see it in the CFAC, which is in the Community Folk Art Center. It's near from campus, so you can see my work at there at that place. And my most of my work is on my website, which are shane-zy@.com. So you can see my work in there.
Fantastic. Well, Shane, I want to thank you once again for speaking to me. I found your work absolutely fascinating, and I really do hope that everyone gets a chance to go see it. Again, if you want to go see Shane's work and the rest of the works that constitute the MFA thesis exhibit, Carrying the Thick Present, you can see that at the Community Folk Art Center here in Syracuse by making an appointment on their website, communityfolkartcenter.org. It runs from April 8th to May 23rd. This has been Mary Bedell and Shane, and thank you so much for watching, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.